see here in our first bed, we have the berry bushes. These are eventually going to be spread out, I think, because they get so big, but for this year it was okay to put them all in one. Tea tree, he's still pretty small. This blackberry bush is making some progress, growing up his trellis, or at least being supported by it. There's a little cluster of blackberries here. Yeah, see, little cluster coming up. Not as many as I would like just yet, but it's been really hot and they all kind of had a rough start, so I guess I can understand that. The barrage is growing up beautifully. Tons of lovely little blossoms. These are really good for attracting bees and other pollinators. But in terms of using them in a dish, I haven't done that yet. I read that they have the flavor of like cucumbers, so it might be kind of cool to make like a summer soup or put them in a salad. We'll have to see. So that's the barrage. This is the newest addition to the garden. He's a heritage raspberry, and he's just getting started. He's been in the ground for about 2 weeks now. On this side, we have a pine strawberry, and they're just kind of getting full. We've already picked 2 or 3 little strawberries off of this one. He's not a huge producer, but the fruit are kind of cool looking, so he's just a little unique addition to have to the garden. And here is the strawberry all-star. Some parts are kind of training up the trellis, and he's still spreading out quite a bit. You can see over here. So they're really just kind of going through a growth spurt, most of them right now, but they haven't produced a whole lot. This is the raspberry bush. She's doing really well. You can see there are lots of little raspberries kind of making their appearance. This one has some little gnats that I'm currently dealing with. You can tell from this kind of mosaic looking pattern on some of the leaves that it's fighting off something. So I thought that the gnats were to blame, but it may also be a type of virus. So we're gonna have to take care of that so that the fruit aren't affected. Hasn't gotten too bad, but it's definitely something I want to keep an eye on. Going over to the second and third beds. I'll go on this side. The bell pepper plants are so slow. They're so slow. They're generally the last ones in the garden to really do anything spectacular. So those are little narrow guys in the front. And then on the back row there are bell peppers. There's a carrot bunch, and then there's arugula also. The arugula has been doing pretty great, where I'm able to pluck off a couple leaves, add them to salad, add them to Alex's sandwich. These are really spicy, so I don't like them in a salad by themselves, but he loves them because he likes spicy food. And then next door, there are more carrots, a few more bell pepper plants, more arugula, and some herbs. All growing up, doing pretty well. I want to say that this tall guy here is going to be one of our first pepper plants to actually produce anything. He seems like he's doing very well. Gonna have him supported soon. But you can see like these little guys growing in here. Starting to get some fruit, starting to see some activity. It's been some crazy weather lately, so they're all doing their best. I recently moved my melon plants over here, but these have a couple of fruit as well. So here's one little guy, he's getting started. Hello! He's nice and smooth and round. you see him hiding back there? He's one of the biggest now. This is going to be another variety. He's, oh, what does he call it? Like a honey fairy melon or something like that from Park Seed. So that's exciting. And then we have a pretty traditional guy who's growing over here. He's kind of suspended. I'm surprised he's doing so well. He hasn't weighed down the entire plant yet. And I'm going to keep an eye on him and maybe give him a little bit of support if he seems like he's getting too big. Come over to the corn. These will be ready once their little hairstyles turn brown, and you can kind of poke the kernels and you get like a creamy fluid rather than a clear one. Got that little note from my friend Jared. But yeah, it looks like I'm getting a second one started here. This guy's been here for a while. And we're getting pretty similar results with the corn on this side. Got 3, 2 in the back and then this one in the front. But here the cucumbers are doing really, really well. There are a couple that will be ready to pick soon. I've already gotten 2. The first one I gave to my mommy, and the second one is now in the fridge. There's one back here that's hiding. Should be ready soon. And then there's this guy down here and his little friend. The cucumbers are doing so incredibly well because the bees have been really active on these plants. There's one that's hidden back here somewhere. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Yeah, he was on the ground, so I had to prop him up using the fleur-de-lis as a support so that he wouldn't rest on the ground. But anyway, with the bees, they've just been really great in getting everything nice and pollinated, spreading it around. So these big yellow flowers are attracting them and making this one of the most prosperous parts of the garden right now. I was inspired by the activity with the cucumbers to put more pollinator plants in the garden space to help to attract some of the bees to the tomatoes, which could be doing a lot better than they are right now. And I think it's just because the bees aren't as active in that part of the garden. The tomato flowers are really small and they've been pretty tight, tightly bundled. Like they're not opening up and flowering as big and lusciously as the cucumbers. So hopefully that'll work. See, he's helping out. Thank you. Thank you for your service. I like to think of this as like a mutually beneficial relationship. I provide them with some tasty flowers, some nectar, pollen, all that stuff that they love, and they help me out by making my garden a lot more productive. Some cucumbers in the background that are doing their thing. There's a big fat guy back here. Can you see him? Don't want to break that. But he's one of the largest in terms of girth in the group. Let's just start off with the first one that's easy to get to from this side of the garden. I'm gonna go and find his stem. It's kind of hard to do this while holding the camera, but find his little stem, give him a little snip. And there he is, beautiful fellow. And these little spiky things, little burpees, they just kind of wipe right off. So they're a little prickly to the touch at first, but they come off easily when it's time to clean them. Ta-da! We do have a lot of tomatoes that are coming up, so that's good. They're just slow getting started. So we have some heirloom varieties, and we also have little smaller cherry size guys back in there. The heirlooms on this end are doing really well. This will be a pineapple tomato heirloom. So I think that the berries are going to, or sorry, the tomatoes are going to turn out kind of a fun yellow color with some streaking at the top. There's another little cluster down here. kind of give you more of an overview of the state of the raised beds. If I had to say something that I'm like proud of, I'm definitely proud of the work that my husband's done. I think it turned out so beautiful and I'm really excited. And I'm also really excited about the watermelons just because I know that those are something that I can easily share with the family at like a family gathering, and we'll just have a lot of fun with these guys when they grow up. And they're going to be delicious. And it's my first year growing watermelon, so I think that's part of the reason why I'm so much more excited about them than some of the others. Here's the fennel. It's the first time for me with fennel. I have no idea how much I would want, so I just started with 2. And I may plant a few more. They seem to be doing okay. The parsley finally decided that it wanted to cooperate. Riley, you are in the way. Ooh. It was a really hard thing to get started, but finally got 2. My mint's back there. Riley. Lemon balm is doing all right, though I have no idea what to do with it just yet. And my chamomile was doing really well, but it recently started to yellow. If you can see some of the yellowing here, and I think it could just be the heat. It's maybe getting too warm. We've had several days that were in the high 90s recently. Those high 90 days killed the cilantro, so I just pulled most of it and used it before it all completely died. The basil's a survivor. Got some new ones that are coming up. They've handled the heat okay, but I've been really sure to keep them pretty damp. Stevia, doing okay. Had a little bit of wilt in the hot weather, but overall not too bad. And then there's some onions that I'm experimenting with from a store, and they seem like they're doing whatever it is that onions do and doing it quite well. So I'm gonna be excited to see how the little store experiment turns out.